matter whatever you said because it is not related. It does not matter.
Hey, Brad. Well, at the end of the day, I know I'm right and you're wrong.
I know at the end of the day.
I know who's dumb and who's not. I know who has published research and who doesn't.
You have published research on
baseball? You want me to take it personal?
You wasted your time writing a paper on baseball?
I know who's in.
You wasted time writing a paper on baseball?
I know who's in.
What's wrong with you?
And who isn't?
It's not my fault you're stupid. So, it doesn't matter.
Brad, we at higher institutions of learning can recognize one another. And I can understand if they didn't teach you how to do that.
But if you can't recognize that you're wrong, then you're not at a higher institution. You've been lying this whole time.
So
I know when I'm wrong, and I'm not wrong here. I said nothing wrong this whole time.
You said several things wrong.
I said nothing wrong this whole time, and you just lack the ability to. You just lack the ability to understand that. You cannot comprehend.
Baseball is not turn-based.
You cannot comprehend.
Baseball.
You just can't. You just can't. You just can't.
Welcome to my pet.
You just cannot. So it's okay. It's okay if you can't understand it.
Don't worry, Brad.
It's okay. No, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
I'm banning you from the server. Don't worry.
It's okay. It's okay.
Don't worry. Next month, I'm banning you from the server. You don't have to worry, Brad. Because we are in a server that admits the truth. And
then why are you in it?
The truth is
why are you in it?
Is not turn-based.
Again, you ignored what I said. Once again, for probably the 20th time. It's mind-boggling. It's so mind-boggling. You know I said that this aspect of baseball is turn-based. I told you.
Bradford Crossing. Would you mind taking a look at General?
I did not say that all of baseball is turn-based.
Now,
I said this aspect of baseball is turn-based.
We are amidst a crisis.
And again, you are going to ignore me. You're going to ignore me. You're going to ignore me and try to
your concept of the American pastime baseball.
Discredit my point by not talking about it.
A man who cares not about our values.
Discredit my point by not talking about it. You ignored me the whole time. You did not once talk about what I was talking about. Not once did you talk about what I was talking about.
I'll have you know.
That whole time you did not. So what's even the point?
Never,
ever. This whole time you did not talk about what I said. Once again, you are not talking about what I am talking about.
I want you to keep in mind.
It's like the 20th time you make a point that is not related to mine.
Lie to you about baseball.
You are making it again.
And again. You to realize
you are not talking about what I'm talking about.
Who
you made active choice to ignore what I said.
Who won't acknowledge you're right?
You have not proven me wrong. That's why I'm not admitting my wrong. You have not proven I'm wrong.
You
have not proven that I am wrong.
Without listening.
And again, you are ignoring me. Again and again and again. Again and again and again. Ignoring me. Ignoring my point. Ignoring what I have to say. Because you just can't comprehend making a good point.
He willingly ignores the facts. For belief and
I know what you're saying is right, but you're not talking about what I am talking about.
I've spoken directly on the pitcher and the batter. I've spoken directly on that, Brad. Directly. Because whether or not the batter even
any point you are making with the pitcher and the batter relates to something else. That is not what I'm talking about.
No. I'm talking only about the pitcher and the batter. I'm talking only about the pitcher and the batter. Whether or not the pitcher, when the pitcher throws the ball, which is, in my opinion, I'll say now, I'll give you some level of credibility. In my opinion, is the only state that matters because that's when active play begins. Whether or not the batter hits the ball, doesn't swing, or misses the ball when he swings, regardless of what he does, the game can continue. It's not a recognized turn.
What I am saying,
whether or not what he does
saying
does not impact the game on whether or not he does it. It's whatever happens after he does it.
It's just the pure fact that you swing the bat in
that is the flaw in your argument.
There is no flaw.
The batter does not have to swing the bat for the game.
You don't have to take your turn.
Whether or not
you don't have to take your turn.
The only time the batter can swing his bat,
you can miss. You can miss in a turn. Play. You can hit in a turn. You don't have to move on a turn. It doesn't matter if you. It does not matter if you hit it or miss it or anything like that. All that matters. It is now your turn to hit the ball. It is your turn to hit the ball.
When the pitcher doesn't throw the ball, can the batter take his turn? Can he take his turn?
No.
If the pitcher doesn't throw the ball,
he cannot take his turn.
Because
that's why
it's not a turn.
It goes from his turn. It goes from his turn to the next turn. The batter has to start the turn. The batter has the first move in the turn.
No.
Yes.
The pitcher does.
Yes. No. I mean, no. I was confusing. The pitcher has the first move in the turn. The turn-based if in Pokemon you never decide to attack, they can't attack because they can't take their turn. So the pitcher has to start the turn by throwing the ball. What do you mean that's not true?
Well, in Pokemon, you make the decision, but the turns happen based on who's faster. The Pokemon is turn-based only in single player.
Okay.
It's not turn-based in player versus player. It's not turn-based.
Fair. Let me come up with a different example.
Well, no, but let's go back.
No, still. No, in Final Fantasy. If you never make your turn, the game doesn't continue. If you don't make your turn, the other person lacks the ability to make their turn.
That's actually
wrong. How's that wrong?
In the older Final Fantasy games, the enemy you only can attack when your meter is filled. The enemy can attack whenever they want. It's not turn-based.
Okay, bad example. Let me think of a different one.
No, Brad. Let's just like you are now moving your argument away from baseball.
Let's
go back to baseball when you accused me of that. Let's go back to baseball. All right. So if you want a good example, here's a great example. Inbounding in basketball. Only inbounding.
It's not related. Basketball is not related. Basketball is not related.
And I know video games you reference, you monkey-brained idiot.
I'm making reference to other things that are turn-based. Basketball is not turn-based. Basketball is not turn-based. Basketball is not turn-based, so it doesn't relate. Basketball is not turn-based, so it doesn't relate. RPGs are turn-based, so it does relate. Basketballs are not turn-based, so it doesn't relate. RPGs are turn-based, so they relate. Basketball is not turn-based. Basketball is not turn-based, so it doesn't relate. RPGs are turn-based, so they relate. That's what I'm saying. Basketball is not turn-based, so it doesn't relate.
You said baseball as a whole is not turn-based.
Baseball as a whole is not turn-based. This aspect of baseball is turn-based. All of Pokemon is in turn-based. You don't take your turn taking a step.
I am stating, Brad.
Pokemon is turn-based.
I am stating that there's an aspect of basketball which can be viewed in a very similar light to the pitch.
Okay.
Because in basketball, there's a thing called inbounding, which is where someone is holding the ball outside of the court, and no scoring, no defense, nothing can be done until that ball is passed from outside the court back into the court. Now, in your argument, you would say that the man inbounding the ball, the one outside the court, is taking his turn. And the other guy would be taking his turn when he receives the ball.
No, I would not say that.
That's the same. That's the same thing. It's putting the ball in play. It's literally the same thing. It's putting the ball in play.
No.
Okay. Well, you can say no, but you're wrong.
I can say no because I'm right.
That's just sports.
I can say no because I'm correct. because I'm right, I can say that. So.
It's not like golf. It's not like skeet ball. It's putting the ball in play.
No.
You can say no.
I
You're
can say
wrong.
yeah. I can say no. See?
You can say no.
Because I can
You're
say no
wrong.
because I'm right. If I wasn't right, I couldn't say it.
You can say no, Brad,
I can say no.
but you're wrong.
I can say no because I'm right.
Just like Trump.
Again, it's that simple.
Just like Trump will say no to
It is-
COVID cases.
It is that
arising
simple
in the US.
because I am right.
You can say no, but you're wrong. There's
No.
a state of active play. I have actively dismantled each of your arguments as you've changed them.
I have not changed
And
at all.
You continue to keep.
I have not
screwing-
changed at all.
You know, you want to talk about video games, right?
What?
There's a very funny achievement in Fallout 3, which is achievement
Oh?
for getting a bigger gun, which is a heavy weapon, and it says, "Whoever's the loudest wins the argument," and it's referencing a fallacy. And if you haven't noticed,
I am not
continued to
trying.
elevate
I am
your
not trying to. I'm not trying to get you. I'm not trying to win by making you shut up. I'm trying to make you shut up because what you're saying is not related. If you're not going to make an argument that is related to what we're talking about, I don't even want to hear it because it's a waste of my time.
isn't related.
It's a waste of my time to hear things that aren't related.
Brad, if we were to talk about practicing batting in the pitching cage, like in the batting cage, I could see you saying that it's turn-based. But when you put the batter in the game, it's no longer turn-based. He's not taking a turn.
He's taking his turn to hit the ball.
He's not. The ball's in active play. It doesn't matter what he does. That ball's in active play.
That does not matter because the pitcher takes his turn to throw the ball and the batter takes his turn to hit the ball.
Okay, Brad. So then, what happens? What happens with this then? What happens with this, right? Okay. So you have a guy on second base. Okay. The guy's at bat. Guy's on second base.
But the guy on second base is not the batter or the pitcher. Once again,
Listen to me. Listen to me. Listen to me.
I will
Listen
not because it is not related. I will not listen because it's a waste of my time to listen. If you're not going to talk about what we're talking about, I'm not going to listen. I'm not going to listen if you're not going to talk about the batter and the pitcher. The batter and the pitcher. The batter and the pitcher is what I want to talk about. I don't care about the person on second base. I don't care about the outfielder. I don't care about the first baser. I don't care about the catcher. I don't care about the ref. I care about the batter and the pitcher. The pitcher throws his ball, that is his turn. The batter hits the ball, that is his turn. That is the point. That is the point. That is the point.
The pitcher throws the ball, but not towards the catcher.
What?
The pitcher doesn't have to throw it towards the catcher. He can throw it to any of it. You can throw it first base. You can throw it to
He's taking his turn to throw the ball.
Okay, so what's the difference between that and the inbounder now? He's throwing the ball to another guy. That guy's taking his turn for catching it. What's the difference? What's the difference, Fred?
Okay, I'm not trying to be devil's advocate, but I have been drawing a lot of pictures making fun of Brett. But I've thought of an argument that's good for Brad, and it's Paper Mario.
I don't know anything about Paper Mario.
You take your turn, then the enemy takes their turn. If you don't start your turn,
But
then the enemy can't take their turn.
But you also interact on each other's turns in a way.
Yeah, but the fact of the matter is that that is turn-based. Baseball isn't turn-based. The actual game.
Baseball, I did not say that. I'm making a
You did
point
say
that I did not make.
And then you changed it.
I told you why I said that. I told you why I said that.
Yeah, but that's a flimsy ass excuse. You first said baseball.
That's the excuse.
And then
Because
when I did that wrong, you said,
You know what?
okay,
I'm with
only
Brad.
talking
I'm with
about
Brad
because
on
that
this
was not my point.
So this is wrong.
Engaging in it made me flesh out what I was saying. I made this comment. It was that
Okay,
simple.
But let's ignore that because I've also disproved your other thing.
No, you haven't.
Yes, I have,
You haven't done anything.
Brad. Because
Yeah.
You've done nothing.
the pitcher and the batter are in the cage, where the batter is actively only there to practice hitting the ball.
That I know. I understand that. That is completely turn
Oh,
based.
Brad, you're wrong. Souls is right. I mean,
That's
look
turn.
at the fucking evidence he's laid down, and you still think you're right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm actually gonna side with Brad.
If the pitcher is, if we are now in a baseball field, in a
Mhm.
game of baseball, right? We're in the game of baseball.
The game of baseball is not turn based,
Well,
but the
current.
interaction
Shut
between
up.
the
Shut up.
pitcher,
I'm
between
talking.
the pitcher. I don't care that you're talking.
Souls,
I don't care that you're talking.
Souls
Shut
is
up.
not nice. Stop
I don't care. I don't care that you're talking because you're not going to say anything that's worth my time. If you're not going to say anything that's worth me hearing, I'm not going to listen.
Brad, if I actually thought you were someone worth arguing with on this topic, I would listen.
But you're not going to say anything worthy
That was
of me
just
listening to
mean.
because it's not related.
I haven't even finished setting up my
Because
scenario.
I know what it's going to be.
And you're saying
I know it's not going to be related.
Right.
So
so you have one team out on the field. The
I
other
don't care
team
about the team.
has one player batting, right?
I don't care about the team. I care about the batter and the pitcher.
I'm not saying we care about them. I'm setting up the scenario.
Okay.
With the batter and the pitcher's rest of his team is out on the field. Right?
Yes.
Okay. Now the pitcher, as you said, has to take his turn, and then the batter takes his, right?
Yeah. That is the interaction.
Even without a single other person from the batter's team on any of the bases, the pitcher can still throw the ball to any of the basemen, and he will not get any sort of penalty or any sort of aspect. He is taking his turn. He put that ball in active
He's
play.
taking
They
his
can
turn,
throw
yes.
it all around the field. They can
Yes.
throw it wherever they want.
He's taking his
ball's in
turn.
active play. He's
taking
and
his
you're
turn.
saying he's taking his turn, but the batter can't do it.
Batter
Now,
what?
let's put the batter can't take his turn, regardless of the fact the pitcher took his quote unquote turn. Now, let's put some of the
He could
batters.
try to hit the ball even if it's not coming for him. That's him
No,
taking his turn.
That doesn't count as a strike. He can't run off from the base and swing at wherever the pitcher's throwing the ball.
Okay. Okay.
He can't do that.
Okay.
There's no point. If I don't know what the ruling would be if the pitcher threw the ball to second baseman and the batter swings, but the pitcher would turn around, so I don't think it would count. It wouldn't count as a pitch. Now let's put the batter. He's batting. Let's put a guy on first base. You have one of the batter's teammates on first base.
Okay.
If the batter, not the batter, but the batter's teammate on first base, before the pitcher throws the ball, that teammate starts moving off the base. The pitcher's
I know.
winding up.
I
The
know how
pitcher's
swing is.
winding up. Yeah.
Okay.
He shifts his ankle. I'm going to go very detailed for you. He shifts his ankle when he throws the ball because I've been a pitcher. I've done this. And he throws it to the first baseman. That ball's in active play.
Okay.
The game has started.
He took his turn.
And the batter? Where's the batter's turn? Who's taking the second turn?
I'm putting together units ahead of your position. Maintain current.
Now, this guy on first base, when he sees that, he knows he can't go back to first base. He went too far. He starts running to second. First baseman has the ball now. He throws it to the second baseman. They start closing in on it. That ball's in active play. Is someone taking their turn? They're throwing it back and forth, getting closer to the guy in between. The guy's trying to avoid getting tapped.
This is not
He
related to
gets
the batter.
Who's taking his turn after the pitcher threw his first? Who took his first turn? Who took it? Who took it?
This isn't related to the batter.
Who took his first turn?
This isn't related to the batter.
Who took his turn?
Hey,
This isn't
Paradox.
related
Yeah.
to the batter.
No,
How much
no, but
money
there's a
would it
turn.
cost
There-
me to
there's the
fuck
first
out
turn.
of
It's related to the batter.
There's the guy who took his first turn.
Not
Who took his first
negotiable.
turn?
It's
Who
not
took his
related to
first
the
turn?
batter.
All right, fine. Let's go
Were
back
you
to
here when I
that.
asked you? I'm sorry.
Don't worry about it.
Now,
Alright.
right?
I'm
As
just
soon as the
trying to-
pitcher releases the
Yeah, I
ball,
got
And I'm just
the
trying to
guy
make-
on first base,
I got you, I
the
got
guy on
you.
first base, you remember him?
Yes.
He
Yeah,
moves
we're
off first
fucking
base.
dead,
He
dude.
starts running towards second. Batter swings. He misses.
Kind of wish I was fucking
Took his
dead.
turn.
But the guy on first base was already in because that ball's in active play.
After he
There's no-
swings,
There's no other turn.
Oh,
No,
argument
God,
is
guys.
over.
Because I'm losing my fucking mind.
That is
No,
ahead.
that
That is
guy-
past what I am
guy-
saying.
You guys want me to start yelling? I'll
That is
start
past-
yelling.
That is
Brad,
past
stop.
what I am saying.
Because I said
Again,
as
you are
soon-
ignoring my point.
threw the ball, that guy
Again,
started moving.
or using
started
other
moving.
aspects
Fuck
that
out
I
of
was not arguing.
Because there's other aspects to baseball.
I'm saying this specific aspect of base from the beginning. I said this specific aspect of baseball is turn-based,
But it's not.
but it is.
The
Pitcher
rest of
throws
the game,
ball, batter
the
hit
pitcher
ball.
can take his, hold on.
Pitcher throws ball, batter hit ball.
The pitcher
It's
can
that
take
simple. It's
his-
not. It's not related to everything else.
And then another thing we
Listen to me.
talked
Listen. Now, let me say something now. Let me say something now.
about. You know, you can keep cutting me off. I'll let you speak, Bradley.
My point is pitcher throw ball, turn. Batter hit ball, turn. That's it.
You're ignoring active play.
I don't care. This is what I'm talking about.
What?
I don't care.
But that's
This
not
is
how
the
baseball
interaction.
works.
This is the interaction I'm talking about.
Because it's not.
Okay? Okay? This is the interaction I'm talking
No,
about.
no. Okay, let me respond to that. Because one of the things you said is when the pitcher doesn't take his turn, the game can't continue. You're like in Paper Mario. If you don't take your turn, the game doesn't continue, right?
Mhm.
If the batter doesn't take his turn, the game continues. He gets a strike. If he doesn't swing, he gets a strike. Because
His turn was to choose
the
not to
ball's an
swing.
active play.
His turn was to choose not to
No,
swing.
he's choosing not to make his move. Just like
Yeah.
in Paper Mario, he's choosing not to make his move, which in Paper Mario, the game doesn't continue until you make your move, right? Does the game continue?
You can make the move to just sit there.
Does the game continue if you choose to do nothing? If you just don't press the controller, you don't press anything on the controller, what happens?
The game doesn't continue.
Okay, so the batter doesn't do anything. He doesn't press the controller. The ball goes into the catcher's hit. It's a strike. It's now 1-0. The
His
game
action,
continues.
his
The game
action,
will continue.
his action was to not do anything.
The game continues. No, that's bullshit. That's bullshit. Don't say that to me. That's bullshit.
I am saying that,
The
and you
player
can choose to hate
chose
it,
not
but
to
I'm
press
saying
the-
it. That's what I'm saying.
The bat is
That's
his
what I'm saying.
controller. The bat is his controller. He chose not to press a button.
That is not.
The ball went
That
past
is
him.
not the
The
analogy
ball
I
went
was
past
going
him.
for.
The ball went past him. It's the analogy I'm going for, so you gotta deal with it.
It's a wrong
The ball-
analogy.
The ball passed him into the catcher's mitt. That's a strike. It's 1-0. He
His
didn't take his
action
turn.
was not
The
to
ball
move.
was an active
Its
play.
action was to take inaction. It's that simple.
God, Brad.
It's that simple.
You guys ever think about just like how far we've come as like a fucking unit, you know? Like you ever, you know? And then
What does that mean?
I've learned one thing from this. I've learned one thing from this. Do you want to know what that is?
What did you learn?
You're Nate tier. That was just an insult. I'm kidding.
I gotta leave, dude. The fucking Chernobyl's about to blow
I
up.
probably would not have come back.
You are wrong, though. And I will never agree you were right.
I believe I'm right. I made my point. I believe my point is right.
To be honest, I think both of you guys are fucking wrong.
Baseball's a MOBA.
Well, yeah, one
Yes!
has to be wrong.
Yes!
It's either turn-based or it's not.
Obviously, baseball is what we call a fucking sport, you fucking idiots.
It's a
Nope.
MOBA.
Nobody else except for fucking dweebs will compare it to a fucking video game. So sit your fucking ass down. Is for physical men, okay? Physical men in the real world. It ain't a video game.
There's like nothing physical about baseball.
Yeah, there is.
Like what? Touching someone with the ball? Come on, bro.
It's about this ball really far.
You don't tackle.
I've tackled a catcher before. I
Why?
got in trouble for that, though.
Okay,
That's
so
true.
He was in the way.
And you have to
Oh, he
run.
was in the
You have
way.
to-
Yeah, I don't get why I got in trouble because he was in front of the base. He's not supposed to be in front of the base.
Yeah, baseball does
that
take
is true. You're
physicality.
not supposed to be.
Well, not as much as
But I got in trouble for just like ducking my shoulder down and running right into him.
Yeah, but anyways, yeah, I definitely think that
What do you think? Yes. Whatever.
I'm just glad the fucking conversation's over. Jesus Christ.
Most of the people here agree with me, Brad. That's all I'm saying.
That
I
was
don't
like
care
a,
that they agree with you. I think
No.
I'm right.
okay, that was a longer bit than like even I would fucking do. Hey,
It wasn't a bit.
It
That's
wasn't
why.
a bit. It was
I
not a
realized
bit.
it wasn't a bit. They started actually arguing.
Not a bit, but it was
I
still
thought
a
it
bit.
was a bit at first, though.
It was a bit. Whether it was a bit
No.
or not a bit, it was a bit.
I thought it was a bit because I didn't think Brad would actually believe that.
It was.
You know. You know when it says like mission passed, respect gained, Brad in GTA?
Mm-hmm.
Mission failed, respect lost.
Da-na-na-na, dilip.
So you know I'm willing to be convinced and change my mind.
I actively the
you
reason
know-
the reason why I don't I'm having trouble believing that is I did just disprove that. There's a state of active play in baseball.
I do not
I'm
believe
I'm
you disproved me.
up. And you can believe what you want.
Mm-hmm.
Like in the rules of the game, there's a state of active play. It doesn't matter what the batter does. That ball's in active play.
From my point of view,
Your point of view
it is
doesn't
still
matter.
turn-based.
Your point of view doesn't matter because it's the rules of the game.
I'm not saying you have to do anything
Because
like
my
break
point of view-
rules to make it turn-based. But from my point of view, this interaction between the pitcher and the batter is turn-based. That's all I'm going to say.
It is only turn-based outside of the game of baseball. When you put it in the context of the game of baseball, it is no longer turn-based. That interaction is only turn-based outside the game of baseball because there's no state of active play there. In the game of baseball, there's a state of active play. You can believe what you want. I can believe that when the catcher scratches his penis, that's him taking his turn. But that doesn't affect the rules of baseball. There's a state of active
You don't.
play.
From what I am saying, you do not have to violate the rules of baseball to make it turn-based. The interaction based
not
on the
saying-
rules between the pitcher throwing the ball at the batter and the batter hitting the ball is turn-based.
I'm not saying that what you're saying has to violate the rules. I'm saying the rules violate what you're saying.
No, because the interaction between the batter and the pitcher
In the context of baseball,
In the
that's no longer turn-based. The game continues.
but this interaction is turn-based.
Only outside of baseball.
Even
Because
in baseball.
The rest of the game is continuing. Whether or
Even
not you
in
choose to do nothing, whether or not you hit a home run, whether or not that ball nails you in the head and you get a walk to first base. The game continues. It doesn't matter if you don't have to take your turn. What happens if you can't take your turn? If the pitcher throws the ball and he doesn't throw it towards you, it hits the ground like 5 feet in front of him.
Jelly, peanut butter jelly, peanut
The
butter.
batter's no longer taking his turn, but that's still a ball on the pitcher because the game continues. It's in active play. There's no turn there. It's only a turn outside of the context when the pitcher throws the ball to the batter for the batter to hit it. In the larger context of the
throws the
game,
ball
the only
at
turns in
the
baseball
batter.
are who's on
Batter
the field and who's
hits
at
the
bat.
ball.
There's a state of
Pitcher
active play
throws
that
the
you're
ball.
ignoring it. You can say that as much as you want.
I am ignoring the state of active play because it's not related to what I am saying.
You are taking it out of the
The
context
game-
of baseball.
The game can continue
You are taking
even
it
though
out of the
these
context
two
of the game.
people take one turn and then another turn.
The game continues regardless of whether or not the second person, your quote-unquote second person taking their turn, takes their turn. Regardless of
Interaction
whatever he does,
The
the game
pitcher
continues.
throwing the ball at
His
the
turn
batter.
does not matter
The batter
in the game.
hitting the
So
ball
he does not
is
have a
one
turn.
turn and the next turn. And the pitcher throws the ball again, one turn, next turn, one turn, next turn.
That's not a turn, Brad.
That is a turn.
It's not a turn.
It's a turn.
Because the ball, it's the same turn as I shoot the basketball into the hoop, the other team goes down to their hoop and shoots the basketball.
No, that's different.
Yes, because it's an active play.
No,
No, it's
because
not.
there's no aspect in basketball. There's no interaction in basketball that can be seen as turn-based.
When they score the basket, when they score their basket, Brad, I'm now on offense. It is my offensive turn. If they steal the basketball from me,
There's a
it is
different
now their
argument
defense.
to
It's
say
now their
that
offensive turn.
the attack and defense is not related to what I'm saying. That's a whole different discussion.
No, it
Talking
is.
about
You
whether-
can say it's not, but it is.
but it's not.
You can say it's not, but it is.
I am
Brad.
saying it's not, but it's not.
because it's the same
Saying
thing.
that the main gameplay
No. Listen,
of basketball and baseball is attack.
The batting
No,
is
I'm
the main
talking right
gameplay
now.
of baseball. Batting
No.
and throwing, that's the game of baseball. Now listen, if the batter strikes out and he's the third guy out, he's out. Now the other team's up to bat. That's
Unrelated.
That's their turn. That's not
Unrelated.
because you're
Unrelated.
removing the context of the game.
Unrelated.
2,
I can
3,
agree with
4.
you that outside of baseball, outside of an active game being played, it could
In
be argued
this
as
game,
turn-based.
still batter, pitcher, turn based.
No, because there's a new context
Yes.
to it. There's a new context.
The context does not matter when the only thing of importance is batter, pitcher.
So then you're agreeing with me that outside the context of baseball, it is turn-based. But within the context of a game, it is not
Even
turn-based.
in a game, it can be turn based.
So then acknowledge the context. What
The context
happens,
doesn't matter.
what happens when so then then you're saying outside the context it's turn-based, but if you can't acknowledge it within the context of the game, then it's not turn-based. Because if
No.
you can't acknowledge that
No,
context,
what I'm
describe
saying,
to me how it is turn-based within the context of baseball.
because
Describe to
even
me
within
how
the
his turn
context of
matters
baseball,
to the guy on
pitcher
second
throw
base,
ball at
waiting
bat.
for the ball to be thrown back to him to get the guy who's on second base out.
Because that part of baseball, even in the context, that is not related to the main thing I said, which was
If you
pitcher
say it's in
throw
the
ball
context
at
and then
batter,
ignore the
pitcher
rest of
throw
the
ball at batter, batter
you were-
use bat to hit ball.
Brad,
Turn.
you were
Turn.
saying that we are going to put this in the context of baseball,
In
but
the
we are
context
going
of
to
baseball.
acknowledge none of the context of baseball. So you're saying outside of the context of baseball, it's turn-based, but you can't defend it as turn-based within the context of baseball.
No,
Then defend it within the context of baseball.
I am defending it within the context of
No,
baseball.
because every time I
friend
bring
just
up
told
the
me that
context
I'm
of
gay,
baseball,
but in a good
you keep
way.
saying it's not in the context doesn't matter. So you're not acknowledging it within the
I'm not-
context of baseball.
I am.
No, you're not. Because every time I bring up the context, you say the context doesn't matter. You're not acknowledging the context. You know what's really funny, Brad?
What's up?
Normally our arguments in like when I'm not one to really get into arguments, especially during EU4. When you and Red argue, or Rands and Red argue, or you and Rands argue, it's about stuff on the map.
Mhm.
You and I are arguing about whether or not baseball is turn-based, and we have the game paused because of it. That is pretty amazing, but you're still wrong.
Well,
And I can agree to let bygones be bygones. But you are ignoring the context of the game at large.
okay. I am. I am ignoring the context.
And now I'm declaring war on you, no CD.
I was ignoring the context. Outside the game of baseball, an interaction between a pitcher and a batter is turn-based. But within the context of baseball, it is not.
Be assured it is a fighter.
Alright, boys. I want a W in the chat.
Yeah.
Alright, I'm unpausing, Brad.
W.
Hold on, I'm
Wait,
playing
you
with
guys
the
were
chat.
paused the entire argument?
Yes.
Yeah, we were paused this whole time.
It's really funny because like last big EU4 game, Brad and Rands were arguing over land and who was like going too far, and the game was unpaused for all of it. Baseball, no. That was an argument of semantics, and as you can't tell, Brad and I are both idiots. We are the only people who would take a semantic over a joke like that to that level. And I loved every moment of that.
You convinced me, and I admit I was wrong. Thank God Jack was not here.
No, I told Jack you guys were arguing, so I
Which one
Brad,
of
we
us thinks that it's turn-based?
Oh,